What's up? Hope everyone's having a good day and is ready for another video in the series we like to call Underrated Throwers. First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to all, and hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving and a good holidays. Alright, now, today we got a special one. We got Lance Deal, the former American record holder in the hammer at 82 meters 52, I think. Something around that. And held it until Rudy Winkler broke it, I think a year or two ago. So already very accomplished. Not to mention he's the silver medalist at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and a two-time Pan American Games champ, and a four-time Olympian in 88, 92, 96, and 2000. And the world record holder in the weight throw at 25 meters something. I forget. And I guess if you want to count this, he's the world record holder for lefty hammer throwers. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but if it was, he's definitely the furthest lefty, hammer thrower. So, and just a very influential figure in American hammer throwing, and arguably, well, no, he's probably the greatest American hammer thrower we've had. All right, because I think he's the only one, from my memory at least, that's thrown over 82 meters and has medaled in Olympics. I think. I could be wrong. I don't really watch a lot of American hammer throwers because generally we're not great, but we're not going to discuss that. So, we're going to discuss Lance Deal, and this isn't his PR, this isn't his Atlanta throw. This is at the Prefontaine Classic, throwing 80 meters. And I really like this throw. I think he's just a super technical thrower, coached by the great Stuart Togar, or Toger. I can't pronounce names. A very legendary hammer coach who's produced several Olympians, several 80-meter throwers, and has coached Koji and Kibwe and Lance and Jim Driscoll and just a whole bunch of. I think he coached Judd Logan for a little bit, and just a whole bunch of just very influential hammer throwers. Has worked with a bunch of elite hammer throwers internationally as well. And yeah, and Lance carried on his legacy. And yeah, I just love his technique, honestly, and I think he's just super underrated for the simple fact I don't think a lot of, and I guess it's becoming a theme, is in this series is part of the reason why I think they're underrated is just because I don't think a lot of people are students of the sport and know like historical figures and influential figures in throwing. And it's not their fault. They're just young and haven't had the research. So that's partly why I'm making these series, to highlight great throwers throughout history. I'm not really putting any. Okay, well, I say that saying I just made a Tom Walsh video like a week or two ago. But for the most part, I don't really do very many like people that are still competing, because they're still competing. For the most part, there are some that I think are underrated that are still competing, but for the most part, this series is retired throwers. So, and I mainly made this series to educate younger throwers or people just getting into the sport, about great throwers to watch and just great throwers, and hopefully get their history up to speed. Even though some of the stuff I say, I usually correct in the video description, because I'm just going off the top of my head. In the video description, I'll link the his personal best, his height and weight and notable accomplishments. So even if I say something incorrect in the videos, it will be correct in the video description. Alright? So don't come at me in comments, even though I don't think I've actually had a comment in a lot of these videos. But whatever. I'll just make these for fun. But anyway, let's actually get into his throw. So let's just watch this full speed. As you can see, great acceleration. Wish it was a back angle, but I generally don't like front angles for doing hammer or just analyzing video, and especially because they zoom out. So that's great. Let's back this up a little. Alright, so you get the idea. Really technical, lefty, 80-meter throw. So how bad can it be? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's really good. So right off the bat, one I really like. So okay, well, first of all, before that, he does the step in, which I personally like. He's starting square. That's not square line. Square to this. He's not starting offset. He's in the center, kind of wide a little. Actually, not really that wide in his stance. Really good control of the upper body. You can't really see it, but as the hammer goes back, he goes forward. As the hammer goes forward, he goes back. So he's creating a good pendulum. All right, good pendulum right here. And he's not moving side to side. He's just moving back and forth to establish a good counter and good rhythm. All right. And the other thing, which Prismos Cosmos does a lot too, and a lot of elite hammer throws you'll notice, is he's trying to keep his elbows squeezed together when he winds. And that makes it so that it prevents a lot of side-to-side movement, and it really makes you reach out a lot longer and forces you to be long and engage your shoulders so you have a stronger upper back. Alright, so he's right here, gets a good turn. So the first turn, good connection, picks up right at 90 degrees. Really, really tight feet, really like that, tight knees. Good counter. Nice, kind of flat first turn. It's pretty flat, which is what you want. Good catch. And you notice through all this, keeps the feet not turning. He's moving the ball. All right? He's moving the ball. He's not turning his feet with the hammer. He's waiting until the ball passes 0 or his belly button before he even starts turning his right foot. And he's not even thinking about turning his right foot necessarily. At least to my knowledge and all the background I've had on him, is the ball will turn your foot. Never think about actually turning your feet, because then you're going to turn with the ball, and then then the ball won't have any speed, because you want to move way slower than the ball. The ball should be the fastest thing moving in hammer. And as long as you're pushing and countering and just making sure the ball passes you on every turn, you will be fine, and you will turn. Don't think about turning. All right? That's at least my philosophy on it. The ball will turn you. And you look at almost any historically good 80-meter hammer thrower, they all let the ball pass. All right? To some extent. All right? And the more important thing is, and I guess this is his right foot, but for right-handed throwers, they're never turn the left foot before the hammer reaches 90. Never think about turning the left foot, especially. You never want the left foot to turn, or I guess his right foot to turn before the hammer passes it. All right, because then you're going to be dragging the hammer and you'll lose speed. You'll pull a lot, and then you'll just, one, it'll probably hurt your shoulders, and two, it just won't go far. All right. So you always want to be relaxed, long, let the hammer pull you around. All right? And he's keeping a nice, stable hips. All right, nice stable hips, tight core. Your core should be the tightest in the entry because that's generally because you don't have that much momentum yet because you haven't done any turns, you only done some winds. So you want the core to be the tightest, all right, to really accelerate that hammer. So he's right there, really nice first turn, nice and easy. Good catch, and you notice that he's landing flat-footed, so he lands with his heel and then goes on flat-footed and then ball of the foot, and you'll notice on all his turns he does that. So it's always heel, flat toe. That's what you want with the right foot. Well, I guess his left foot. Ugh, lefties. What are you going to do with them? But, so he's here. Really nice. And I love the patience that he always has. And, you see people, you see some hammer throwers do this style where they let the ball always pass and then turn. And then you see some that keep the ball in line with if they're a right-handed thrower, with their right leg and hit his left leg. Both styles work. But the most important thing is that they don't pick up the right foot or the left foot, depending. They don't pick up the non-turning foot. The foot that doesn't turn. They don't pick it up until the ball passes 90. Alright, so for him it's his left foot. It's this foot. This foot does not pick up until the ball passes 90. Alright? And you'll see it in all of them. And sometimes it does, because when you're going these kind of speeds, you're just hanging on for dear life, alright? So the ball is just going to turn. So it may look like they're not doing it, but they're trying to be as patient as possible. Alright, and it's just really hard to do that when you're throwing at speeds, when the ball's throwing at speeds to go over 80 meters, even 70 meters. Alright, so just keep that in mind. But you notice whenever these elite hammer throwers do drills, they always keep both feet. They try and stay grounded as long as possible. Alright, when they're going slow or they're doing tempo throws, they're trying to stay grounded as long as possible, because that's the most important thing in hammer. Because the second you pick up your foot, first of all, you can't accelerate the hammer because you need both feet on the ground to accelerate. And it is just more opportunity to lose your counter. Alright, so it's just that you're going at such speeds that your foot will just naturally be moving faster because the ball will just be moving your body faster. Alright, the ball will be moving your body faster. Your body's not moving the ball faster. The ball makes your body move faster. Alright, so he does great here. Second turn into the third turn. Really nice job. And you see how he just hangs on the hammer through here? He just hanging on it, because a very important thing to realize is that you can't accelerate when you're in single support. You can't accelerate the hammer, so you just gotta hang on it. Hang on it, sit back, and just hang on it. You don't let it pull you forward. Alright, so it does a great job with that. And then once he's here, now he can accelerate it. Now he can go whoosh and really go down and push across, keeping it long. Alright, into his last turn. And you notice how his feet are getting tighter and tighter. Oh, sorry, this is the last turn. Really nice. Good catch. And then you notice when he releases, he's on his left foot. This foot right here. Alright? For a right-handed thrower, it would be their right foot. Alright? As I've said many times, you want most of the weight on this back foot, I should say. I guess, yeah, the back foot. Because that's makes sure you keep your counter and the hammer doesn't pull you forward. Alright, because then you lose energy. So it does a great job kind of sticks it and then tries to stay in. Really nice job with that. And yeah, just overall really nice. And he's always keeping his left side tight. All right, left side tight. You don't really want to. So when it's here, the second his left foot is getting down, and for right-handed throwers it'd be their right foot. The second it's getting down, his whole left side, I shouldn't say tenses up, but kind of locks in. And he's pushing it not with his left hand, but his whole left side. Whole left side push. And he's pushing it until the foot leaves the ground. And then he hangs on and then push, hang on, push, hang on. Oh, wait. Oops, that was his release. Hold up. Push, hang on, push, hang on, push, hang on, push, hang on, push, stick it. Alright, that's what you want. Alright, because if you try and push it while you're in single support, then you can't, because you have nothing, you can't, because you're in the air. Alright, so you want to just hang on, or else you're going to start pulling and you can't accelerate it. Alright, and if you try to, then you're just going to get all out of position and change your orbit. Alright, so it's a very important distinction to have as well. Alright, and you notice on his counter, he sits all the way back. All the way. And when I say sit back, I mean this whole part right here. Okay, I'm not going to zoom in because of the quality of this video. But, oh, okay. I don't know if you guys can actually see this because of this quality of the video. This is recorded, I think, in like the 90s or something. But you'll see that he's sitting back. And what I mean is he's not leaning back with his shoulders. If this video will stay still. He's not leaning back with his shoulders. He's thinking about sitting back. So if the hammer was not there, he would just fall back. Alright? So he's thinking about walking back. Alright? So you want to have the feeling that if you didn't have the hammer in your hand, that you would just fall backwards and just fall. Alright? And you'll see that sometimes when the hammer breaks. If like the wire breaks or something during practice or during a meet and you don't fall backwards, you probably weren't countering. Alright? So, you always want to be sitting back. Sitting back. And that is also what accelerates the hammer. Alright? Because if he was just straight upright, he wouldn't be accelerating it. That's how you accelerate it when you're in single support. Alright? Because the sitting back shortens it. So you want to think, so when you're facing forward, which I guess is the back of the ring, when you're facing the back of the ring, it's short, long, short, long, short, long. Because when you shorten the radius, it accelerates it. You know, just like in shot put and discus, you know, you want to go long out the back and then short at the front because that's what you accelerate. Alright? Think of it like big circle, little circle. It's the same kind of concept in hammer, and it's just physics. Alright? So you shorten this part by pushing whole side. Boom. And then the long part gets you across the ring, and then it as far away from you as possible makes you accelerate while you're in single support. Alright? So it's not like you're accelerating then decelerating. You're accelerating. It's always accelerate. You need to accelerate the hammer always. Ball speed is the most important thing in hammer. Ball speed and then counter. That's it. Alright? And as long as you can counter your ball speed, you will throw far. Alright? So you just gotta think when the hammer is up, you sit back. When the hammer's down, you sit up. Well, not up, but when the hammer's down, you're up. When the hammer's up, you're down. Alright? And I don't mean like when you're here standing up. I mean if you notice that he's not super low here. Alright? Because he's shortening. And he's sitting back, but because the hammer's down, it looks like he's up. All right. But that's what you want to think about, because that's what really accelerates the hammer. So you want to think short, long, short, long, short, long. And you always want the hammer far away from you, but the shortened path is the short to long is what accelerates it. All right. So that's a very important distinction to have. And it's a very hard thing to do. But I think Lance Steele does it extremely well, and that's why he's thrown over 82 meters and is an Olympic silver medalist. All right. So that's what you want to. I think he's a very good technical model, very underrated. I don't think a lot of people even knew he was. Oh, and also, maybe you've also heard of Lance Steele because of the famous Lance Steele cage, which he invented. All right. So the Lance Steele cage is, I think, by far the best hammer cage you can possibly get. It's in all the major D1 colleges all around the country. It's featured in a bunch of Olympic stadiums and a bunch of World Championship stadiums. It's the best, and he invented it. So that's also very influential as well. So that's also another thing, too, to add to his resume. But, yeah, just overall, really good, really good. Great acceleration. So you notice his first turn. Let me back this up. This slow, fast, fast, fast. And the ball is moving fast. And I know I say, oh, you can't see the ball, but you could just chalk that down to the quality of this video. But if you ever see like a 70+ meter hammer thrower, which I have several times in person, you cannot see the ball. Once they do their first turn, you cannot see that ball. All right? And that's what you want. Like, you literally blink and they're done throwing. It's crazy. All right? So, and that's what you want. You never want to move faster than the ball. All right? So, overall, really good thrower. Well, great thrower, I should say. And I hope you guys learned something. Again, I'll link his personal best, height, weight, and notable accomplishments in the video description. And I'll see you all next time. Happy Thanksgiving.